Oh, yeah! Ladies and gentlemen!
Are you ready for your moment of bliss?
Because what Poppy wants, Poppy gets.
Yowie wowie! I don't even know if that's PG! Acknowledge me! Woo! Oh, you didn't know? Well, let me tell you something, brother!
Welcome to the most must-see WWE talk show in history. Welcome to
the Cream of the Crop Wrestling Podcast.
The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better! It's still real to me, damn it!
Hello and welcome to the bottom line of WWE Friday Night SmackDown, November 18th, 2022. You're listening to the Cream of the Crop Wrestling Podcast, the podcast best enjoyed with a nice warm glass of sheep's milk. We are your sheep herders of the program. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Rob, and please embrace the Kingdom of the Madness by be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Ho ho ho, Patty Pat, we had a return tonight that made me pop.
Before we get there, what word of the night will you give us to describe the show?
Ooh, tonight's show was invigorating.
Invigorating, I like that. Well, SmackDown started with the Brawling Brutes and their new honorary brute, Drew McIntyre, coming down to give us a promo about how much Sheamus and Drew trust each other. And before they can tell us who their fifth member of their War Games team is, they're interrupted by Sami Zayn, a.k.a. the Master Strategist, a.k.a. the Honorary Uce, a.k.a. Sami Uso, a.k.a. Usi in the Sky with Diamonds. He comes down and he tells us it doesn't matter who the fifth member is. The Bloodline will take care of the Brutes, and later tonight, he'll take care of Butch in the first round of the World Cup for SmackDown on Fox. That's the end of it. That's the end of this promo right here. What do you think about the tease of the fifth member here?
I love the tease of the fifth member, especially like Sammy's coming out on his own, and then you have all four of those guys standing there staring at Sammy and telling him, when you see who this person is, you are actually going to crap your pants. They told him that, and Sammy just had a look on his face like Sammy sells everything perfectly, and I loved that look. I don't know who fed him the line or if he made up the line, Uzi in the Sky with Diamonds, but that was one of my favorite things I've heard in a while. That was so good. So good. One of the few lines I did not like was Broody. Someone tried to make a play off Uzi and said Broody. That was not good. But other than that, I like the talking about the history between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, how they grew to respect each other. I like bringing in the realism where they were talking about how Sheamus, it kind of displaced the injury angle, but said he went and got married and that Drew was even his best man. So it's kind of nice to kind of blur the lines of realism there, even though it did kind of counteract the injury angle that they were doing, but we'll disregard that one for a little bit. So overall, it's a good segment. I just love how over right now the Brawling Brutes are. Like, Sheamus is literally a megastar right now. We'll talk about that even later when the crowd gets even hotter for a different moment. But yeah, everything about this, the Brutes are hitting on all cylinders right now, so make them a feature, please.
Well, let's move on to our first match, which is another first round matchup for the SmackDown World Cup. Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali. This match gets underway with Mustafa coming down and his ribs are all taped up from the beating he got from Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw. These two had a decent back and forth. Ali sold the ribs, but did little to protect them, hitting a few high-flying moves. He misses the 450, and Ricochet hit a shooting star for the win. Ricochet advances to the semifinals to face Braun Strowman. Ricochet did help Ali to the back after the match, but what do you think about this?
This was so fun. So they did a little segment before the match started where Ali was getting his ribs taped up and Ricochet comes in and they have very high school drama type acting where they're like, Mustafa, like, no, don't go out there. You're going to get hurt, man. Like that kind of stuff. So trying to make Mustafa, I apologize. Mustafa seemed like a tough person battling through injury. And in the beginning of the match too, Ricochet is even trying to give benefit of the doubt to Mustafa and trying to get this over quickly so that he doesn't hurt himself even more. But as it goes on, this becomes a quick back and forth, almost an independent style wrestling that we expected from these two guys. The crowd was lit for this match. They enjoyed every ounce of this. There's a couple spots in here that were crazy to me. The backstabber off the top rope, holy crap, that was an excellent spot. And then just kind of going forward, just like a nice back and forth, and then both guys missing their respective finishing moves off the top rope, but then finally finishing it with the shooting star press while Mustafa is standing, taking him down to the ground for the pin. I thought that part was excellent. I was so happy to see that they gave these guys time, and it was, for me, a fun match.
Yeah, Ricochet did take care of Mustafa. Like, they played this good storytelling throughout the entire match, where Ricochet didn't want to hurt Mustafa Ali, but then they got tied up into the corner for a minute, and Mustafa was like holding on for a little too long, and Ricochet kind of gave him a back elbow to get released, to prevent it from being disqualified, and that's what, kind of ticked Mustafa Ali off, and the match just heated up from there, and Ricochet just turned up the heat more and more every time Mustafa Ali would try to hit a big-time move on him. But like I said, he didn't take care of his ribs at all during this match.
No, he
Even
did
though
not.
they were taped up, yeah. He sold the hell out of them being hurt, but he did not take care of them and protect himself. Let's go backstage to the locker room, to the Bloodlines locker room, where we hear Jay and Sammy are at it again. And Jay is upset about Sammy going out in front of the crowd and guaranteeing a win. And Jimmy defuses the situation in the conversation between these two. What do you think about Jay and Sammy being at it already at each other's throats?
I don't understand. This is one of the few times, I'm like, Jay, why are you mad? All he did was go out there and say, we're gonna win. Why would he not say that? And he tells Jay that too. He's like, do you not think we're gonna win? And Jay's like, no, we're gonna win. He's like, then what's the problem? What's going on? And one of my favorite things I liked is, Jay asked Jimmy, he's like, do you actually like this guy? And Jimmy's like, yeah, I do. On top of it, you see a moment in there where Sammy tells Jimmy, he's like, oh man, I'll tell you about this thing later, man. That one thing we were going to talk about. And you could just tell Jay is in the background. He did another moment there where he had to cover his mouth because he did not want to laugh. But it's just one of those moments where I don't know how Solo never cracks. I think that's on the list of things that Sammy wants to get done is make Solo crack. But they're just so damn entertaining, and I cannot wait for next Saturday because I want to see. We'll get to it later why, but I want to see what the dynamic is going to be with them in the ring because even later in the show, we see another hint of where the dissension hits, and it's so good. It's just so good.
Well, next we see a promo from the New Day backstage, who are sad about losing their record to the Usos, but then they're interrupted by Imperium, who tells them they still hold the record for being the biggest clowns on SmackDown. New Day fire back, making fun of Imperium. Challenge them to a match later tonight, saying they'll go find them a partner for a 6-man tag match. What do you think about this promo here?
I think it's a bad promo, but a good way to set up a match that's a fun match. I think just the tag teams of Imperium and New Day together is just a wonderful TV program that you can do. Later we'll find out, to me, it's to set up something different. One of the things I did not enjoy is they couldn't come up with anything better than Lurch from the Addams Family, anything more relevant to call Gunther, it was a little
making fun of their accents.
Yeah, it was just a little lowbrow and a little I feel like the New Day is a little bit more.
Here's my problem.
Okay, go ahead. You go ahead. Yeah.
My problem is they're real run down and sad at the beginning of this promo, right? Where from losing their record, and we get, they're pretty serious there for a second. Then as soon as Imperium shows up, and Imperium kind of cracks the joke first. But they, just calls them clowns and says that they're the biggest problem in, wrestling right now. Or, there's what's wrong with the wrestling world right now. They basically prove their Imperium's point by firing back with lowbrow jokes, making fun of their accents.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. It was one of those things that I'm going to go a way back machine here where I feel like this is a standard old school wrestling. Americans versus the rest of the world kind of bit. And it's, to me, that's played out and unnecessary in this modern day that we live in now. Let's just have characters that are characters, people that are people, that kind of thing. So it was what it was, but it sets up a match that I would love to see a full on Imperium New Day feud. I think that would be fantastic, especially if I know we're never going to get Big E back, but oh my gosh, if Big E were back, that would be even better.
Well, let's move on to our next matchup, which is Madcap Moss versus Karrion Kross. Scarlett, of course, accompanies Karrion Kross ringside. Madcap went on the aggressive offense at the beginning of this match, hell-bent on revenge. He controlled most of the match until Scarlett ran the distraction on the outside, and it set up for the cross jacket for Karrion to get the win. At the end of the match, we did see Emma come down to check on Madcap, and we've seen a little bit from them before where Madcap was complaining about him still struggling with his voice for the past 3 weeks since the last cross jacket he got. When you think about Madcap receiving another cross jacket, probably setting up for even more destruction on his vocal cords.
I love the sell of that. I love the callback. And I also love the small romantic line, storyline that they're building between Emma and Madcap as well. Only thing I would like them to change is the Madcap name. Doesn't really make sense anymore, but I think they're just going to hold on to it because A, they have a trademark, and B, he's got a ton of Twitter followers already under it, so good for him. I was not excited to see this match, and they proved me wrong. This match was way better than their first one, mostly because it was fast-paced. When you're two big guys like that who also aren't the greatest of workers, like, it works well when you're Sheamus and Gunther, like, they're great workers and they can work a slow match. Cross and Moss, they sound like an attorney team. Cross and Moss cannot do that. So it was very nice to see them go a little bit faster, make it a fast-paced match. Now, actually, I'm okay with this. This is, for me, I am okay with how the ending to me came across. So the ending to me, obviously, Cross won. It doesn't look like it's over yet. It looks like they're still going to continue this on a little bit more. I think the presentation is main event, but I don't think Karrion Kross himself is main event. It actually comes across. This actually reminds me a lot of Mark Mero and Sable, where I think Scarlett is a bigger star than Karrion Kross is. And being in a feud with Madcap Moss kind of solidified him to me as just like a mid-card heel, and that's kind of the ceiling right now until I see something different from him in the ring. So do you have a different take, or am I really off on this? Like, or is it just me?
I think it's all based off the presentation right now. We're so locked up on storylines and the world titles locked up that there's not really good direction for Karrion Kross. So we're going to see him crossing paths with the likes of Madcap Moss for the moment. And just kind of, I'm sure this is just him building his repertoire on people he's beaten. You know, I'm sure he's going to end up beating Madcap Moss unless Madcap does manage to get the upset. I don't see that happening.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like he's kind of stuck for the time being.
Okay, I guess, I don't know. I would like to see him. The presentation is main event. The wrestler himself is not main event. So I need to see more from him personally in the ring.
Well, the next thing we get is a promo from Bray Wyatt, who comes down to the ring, and he tells us that all of his life he was taught that fear equals respect. And he comes out to apologize to LA Knight. The megastar then comes down, conflicted about the apology, but accepts it only after cheap-shotting Bray with a smack to his face. Bray says they're even, and the next decision LA is about to make will affect the rest of his life. And Bray Wyatt tells him they're even, and he extends his hand for a handshake, but the megastar smacks him again. And as he was leaving up the ramp and talking smack, the Titantron flashes behind him of the image of Uncle Howdy. Before we move on, what do you think about this?
This was so good. Like, I was really afraid that it was going to be just another Bray Uncle Howie promo, and the fact that they escalated it this quickly was so good. I thought that was a smart choice on their part. LA Knight played his role to a T here. He was great. I think we're going to spend weeks here where I'm going to be apologizing for my LA Knight hate going forward. So I thought this was spectacular for a couple things. One, gets in the ring, slaps him, and immediately goes away, even though he's saying he's not afraid of him. Immediately backs up. And then extends for a handshake. and gives him slap number 2 while he's on the apron. And as soon as he hits him with that second slap, he's already halfway back up the ramp, just trying to avoid everything. So he's saying that he's not afraid. He's saying he's this, that, but he's showing that, like, I'm going to hit and run and walk away because maybe I am afraid of you. So, and then the other thing on it too was, you see, was it Uncle Howdy that showed up on the screen, or just kind of flickered? And then you look at Bray, and Bray has just changed his whole eyeball. Like, his eyeballs, is like his whole face changed, and it looks like he's just shifting from this Bray Wyatt that's trying to be good back to the other version of evil that, he's trying to get rid of. So, it was exciting to see. It was fun to see. And this was a promo that I was kind of worried it was going to be another Bray, Uncle Howdy, we got to decipher it promo, but no, they moved this thing along, and it needed to be, so it was good.
Well, let me talk to you, Rob, because if there's one thing that you can expect from the megastar is to know that you can never know what to expect from the megastar. Well, let's move on, because the next thing we get is the Usos asking Karrion Kross if he is the Brawling Brutes' 5th member. This is just a real quick spoof before our next match, but give us some words about this from the Usos, expecting that Karrion Kross would team up with Drew McIntyre after they just had a feud. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I didn't really understand this at all. I think they're just trying to sell Karrion Kross as like a threat to them, and they just want to make sure someone like him's not in the match, but he's obviously not a guy that would side with really anybody, let alone side with the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre.
That's what he tells us.
It was it was kind of dumb, a little bit, but I think it's just a way to see crossing paths, with a little bit more main event guys. But as we know, I don't believe Karrion Kross is there. And if you don't know this, that's because you haven't checked out a lot of our stuff that we have on YouTube yet. So if you want to hear all of my Karrion Kross, banter, please be sure to like us on Facebook. Be sure to go to all our social media sites. We have TikTok, we have Twitter, we have Instagram. But most importantly is be sure to go to YouTube, look up Cream of the Crop Wrestling. Be sure to like us, subscribe us, share us, comment with us. We like to respond to people who do comment. And it's a good way also to promote the show so that we can actually do more content later. So the more support we get from all of you, then the more you get to hear from us doing more in the future. So please take the time out of the day, hit pause right now, and go back and do that, and then come back to this wonderful podcast.
Well, let's move on to our next match, which is Shayna Baszler versus Shotzi. The SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey accompanies Shayna at ringside, and the champ would be the difference maker, because anytime Shotzi would build some momentum during this match, Ronda would run a distraction, allowing Shayna to gain control. But Shotzi would get some backup because Raquel Rodriguez would come down to the ring, and Shotzi would end up winning this match with a surprise roll-up pin. Tell us what you think about this match, Rob.
I'm trying to find some positive in here. The only positive I can see is Ronda as a heel is so good, even on the outside when she's just tripping Shotzi and distracting Shotzi and acting like she never did anything. She's just coming across as a total just bitch, if I'm being real about it. I did not like the match too much, so Shayna took most of it, which she should have. Raquel coming out, kind of teasing the future, which is someone that I thought was going to win the match last week, to be honest with you. I think Raquel and Ronda is the next match that needs to happen, because they're just, it makes way more sense, and Raquel actually looks like a threat to Ronda. Right now, I know they're trying to make Shotzi seem like a threat by getting the roll-up win on Shayna, but A, Shayna doesn't need to take a pin right now. You need to build her up, too, as a monster. B, if you want to make her seem like a threat and seem dangerous, just end it with a DQ finish by hitting her with kendo sticks or chairs, or let Shotzi almost get her inner Liv Morgan on and just go a little crazy. So all of this was very flat for me. I did not enjoy it. I thought there was better ways to handle majority of it. But we are what we are, and they're just trying to make Shotzi seem like a moderate threat for Ronda, which she is not.
It was a fun matchup to see Ronda working the crowd and messing with Shotzi. I'll give you that. That's probably my favorite part of this whole matchup. Like you said, I don't necessarily like the roll-up finish for the win. I would much rather maybe Raquel causing the distraction, like when she comes out. Shayna kind of going like, why is she coming down? Looking at her, and then Shotzi like hits her with a finisher. Make Shotzi look like she's impactful. But let's go backstage where we see Megan Morant catching up with LA Knight, who's on his way out of the arena, and Megan asks him if he's in such a hurry because he's afraid of Bray Wyatt. And as LA Knight's opening the door and talking to Megan, we get to see Uncle Howdy in the shadows in the background. And after a commercial break, we come back to LA Knight, who's been laid out and buried under a bunch of equipment from around the arena. What do you think about LA trying to make a quick getaway?
Everything about this is perfect, man. He's playing a wonderful, perfect heel who's going to talk as much crap as he can, but in all reality, he's afraid of what's happening. And then I still enjoy Spooky Bray, and this is kind of what we're getting. We're still getting Spooky Bray. So you had the Uncle Howdy mask in the background, and so you don't know what is Uncle Howdy Bray, is what's going on here. So you don't exactly know which one of them laid out LA Knight because of the break, but I love the idea of just making it seem very, very dangerous. So these two guys it's only been literally 2 weeks, 2 segments, and it's been amazing.
Let's go to the ring for our next matchup, which is a 6-man tag. Imperium versus the New Day, and the New Day's third member is none other than Braun Strowman. The monster among monsters comes down to the ring, and they brawl out with Imperium for a little bit before the match. The match gets underway, and Imperium uses isolation tactics on Xavier Woods and preventing Kofi from getting the tag, until Strowman finally gets the hot tag, and he just comes in and destroys everyone, and even put Gunther on the defensive. New Day get the pin after hitting the midnight hour on Ludwig Kaiser. Gunther tried to make the save, but Strowman just chased him away at the end of the match, and New Day and Strowman go over. What do you think about this matchup here?
This was a fun match. It wasn't perfect, just quite kind of a quick TV match, but I thought the best part of it is I think it's foreshadowing who's going to win the tournament, unfortunately, which I think is fine. Like, honestly, I think Strowman winning the tournament, getting his Intercontinental title shot against Gunther is perfect for Gunther to have an actual next monster for him to beat. You saw Gunther essentially avoid Braun the whole time, running away from him, trying to show how dangerous that Braun was. I was laughing during there. So Gunther, I mean, everyone knows he's got the awesome chops. If you notice, like, Braun was kind of turning when they were coming, so Gunther was only really hitting him kind of like on the upper shoulder and not really taking him to the chest. So I was kind of like, no, Braun, you just got to take it, man. I know you don't want to, but it's going to look good. I promise you. It was one of those, like, surprise people that I fully expected and knew who it was going to be, but it still made it good. So I enjoyed that. The match itself, I hope we get some just 2-on-2 tag matches with Imperium and the New Day. I think those will be fun. I think it'll be a wonderful TV segment. But the setup for the potential of Gunther and Strowman, whether it be at Survivor Series or whether it be on a big SmackDown later down the road, I'm excited for it. Like, I think Strowman, I get annoyed with some of his, like, very over the top antics, such as, like, running around the ring and the Strowman Express.
Every match.
Every match, man. But I will give credit to Vinci and Kaiser. They sold the hell out of that tonight. So, yeah.
Well, after the match was over, Caleb Braxton catches up with Strowman coming through the curtain. He's interrupted by Ricochet, who faces him next week in the semifinals of the World Cup. And Ricochet tells him not to look past these flippy flippers, as Strowman likes to say. When you think about Ricochet referencing some real life, I believe people are trying to say Strowman's got a little bit of heat from making comments like this. What do you think about that?
This is like the second or third time Strowman has made a tweet to independent wrestlers that he said one when the pandemic started where, you know, he talked about how he packed up his bags, was next to nothing, and went down to the performance center and started a career. And it's like, well, you had a contract on your way down there, sir. So, like, it's not like you just, like, were like, I'm going to base my whole list on a shot and hope for the best. You had a contract when you went. I don't know. Strowman just a lot of the time needs to keep his mouth shut. I like Ricochet coming in to tease, hey, I'm a flippy floppy guy. Your words, not mine. I definitely believe that. I think it's going to be a fun, entertaining match. I hope Strowman, they don't have Strowman go out there and destroy him within 2 minutes. I hope they let Ricochet get some offense in. I hope that they're going to try and make it seem moderately competitive. So it's a nice segment. It's especially too, you're promoting TV, so you need to make a nice promo for the next week's show. So I liked it.
I think it'd be interesting to have Ricochet beat Strowman in the semifinals next week.
Gosh, I don't see that happening, but don't tease me like that. I would love it.
All right, well, let's head to our main event of the night. which is Butch versus Sami Zayn. Both men are accompanied by their War Games teams at ringside. These two have a great back and forth, with Sami mostly in control and Butch just fighting back, bulldogging the whole match. And they have a great showcase of each other's moves. And just after Sami almost beats Butch with the Blue Thunder Bomb, tensions erupt outside the ring between the Brutes and the Bloodline. Sami tries to take advantage of the distraction, and he has Butch all lined up for the Helluva Kick, but Jay scurries into the ring trying to escape Sheamus and gets in the way. Butch takes advantage of that and hits Sami Zayn with the bitter end and wins the match. Everyone starts brawling after the match, and that's when the head of the table, Roman Reigns, arrives and deals out Superman punches to everyone. He has a stare down with Drew McIntyre. He has a stare down with Sheamus. And after giving them both Superman punches, that's when Kevin Owens' music hits and he comes down and has a stare down with the Tribal Chief. They bang it out. Owens stomps him into the corner. Sami Zayn gets into the ring and stops Owens, and they have a stare down between each other. And then Roman Reigns hits Kevin Owens with a Superman punch. Sami gets pulled out of the ring, and Kevin Owens dodges the spear from Roman Reigns, and he hits the Tribal Chief with the stunner. Looks like the Brutes have found their 5th War Games team member. What do you think about this, Rob?
This whole segment from beginning to end was so good. Like, I had that feelings in my stomach again of just excitement of what's going to happen next. So first of all, let's just talk about the match itself. So I was excited to see a Butch Sami Zayn match because it's Butch and Sami Zayn. So, and they did not disappoint. Everything about that was fantastic. They had a lot of nice spots in there, some exploder suplex. There was a wonderful scene there where, like, you see that the Brutes are kind of coming around the corner, just kind of protecting their guy because Butch got thrown out right in front of the Bloodline. But no one touched each other that time. Not at all. But then finally, about 3/4 of the way through the match, it was on. It was on. Like, it was just, that's what Brutes do. Brutes beat up people, and it was just on. But I loved the moment, you alluded to it, where Sami was set up for the Helluva Kick, about to win this match, and then all of a sudden, Jay out of nowhere just kind of gets, I don't know if he was shoved into the ring, if he was trying to run away from what was going on, but he was trying to run away from McIntyre. And in doing so, he gets in the way of Sami Zayn about to hit the Helluva Kick. And Sami, you could see him being like, what are you doing? What's going on? And then, of course, we're going to get the bitter end from Pete Dunne to get the victory. That was wonderful, because now we get Pete Dunne and Escobar next week, which is going to be spectacular, I hope. But then the post-match stuff. Roman, glad to see you made it on time. So that was good. But Roman coming out, that was excellent. And I think the reason I'm going to enjoy this more is you're going to see some combination of guys that I don't think you're going to see ever again or too often. Like, I don't foresee Roman and Ridge Holland ever having, like, too many matches together. I don't see Roman and Butch having too many matches together. So I'm excited to see some of them kind of to go after each other a little bit. But you get that stare down with McIntyre, kind of bringing it back to Clash at the Castle. That was fine. But the even bigger one, when Roman and Sheamus locked eyes and they started going at it, that crowd popped, man. Like, I've talked about it before. Sheamus is stupid over right now, and I don't understand it. I mean, I love the guy, but I don't understand it. And I think it's going to be the feud that leads into the Rumble. Like, I think that's what you're going to get is the Sheamus-Roman match at the Rumble, perhaps. So I'm very excited about that one. But then all of a sudden, Kevin Owens' music's hit, and Roman, credit to you, you have like some of the best facials in wrestling, but he sold Kevin Owens coming out like, holy crap, something big just happened. It was very similar to when AJ Styles came out for the Rumble in 2016, and Roman's face like sold the heck out of that. It was great. So he came out there, he's doing super kicks to both Usos on the floor, goes in the ring, and then you get a little bit of a moment between Roman and Kevin. Kevin looking like a star, hitting Roman with the kick as he goes in for the spear before then he hits him with the stunner. But that moment too between him and Sami where they're not going to hit each other, they're not going to touch each other, they're just going to kind of stare at each other and just tease, which is to me the inevitable ending of all of this, which is at WrestleMania where Zayn and Owens beat the Usos for the title. How they're going to get there, I'm not sure. I don't know where the turn's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen to make this happen. But I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited all the pieces are just slowly falling into place. And my excitement for War Games, I cannot tell you where it's at right now. Like this is like the first Survivor Series that I'm excited for in a long, long time. And it's really just for this one match. A lot of the other ones, whatever, we'll see. Hopefully they turn out well. But this Bloodline versus the Brutes McIntyre Kevin Owens match is going to just be a heat magnet. I think Boston is going to be unglued through this entire thing.
Let's talk about our favorite moments of this show. If there was one thing you could take away from the show and call it a near fall of the night, what would you call it?
I mean, the near fall of the night was the women's segment. There were so much better things they could have done. They didn't do it. I just thought the whole thing was kind of a dud.
I thought Ronda Rousey made the women's match fun. But yeah, it wasn't the finish I would have liked to see, so that would be my near fall as well. Was there a specific move of the night that you've seen? What was the bump of the night?
Bump of the night for me was actually in the first match. I thought Ricochet and Mustafa Ali had a great one. So if I had to pick anything from there, it was actually the backstabber off the top rope. That wasn't something I was expecting to see, and Ricochet sold that like a champ too. So I liked it.
Yeah, that was probably the match that had some of the best moves in it. Definitely always a treat to see Mustafa Ali, and they call him the highlight of the night, Ricochet. So I think that was a great matchup. And that move, that backstabber, I'm gonna agree with you as the bump of the night. It was pretty impressive. And what is your show-stopping promo of the night?
I think we both can agree upon this one. It's the entirety of the LA Knight Bray Wyatt segments throughout the show. I thought every time we saw them on camera, it was spectacular. And I hate this because I'm eating my own words here, but gosh, LA Knight just came across so good tonight.
Yeah, the megastar always gets promo of the night. For me, and just adding Bray Wyatt to this equation makes this, 5-star promos for me. Well, what was your favorite match of the night? What was the barn burner of the night?
We had a couple of them. I mean, you can take your pick. It's either the Mustafa Ali and Ricochet match in the beginning or the Sami Zayn and Pete Dunne match at the end. Both were fantastic. I'm not going to be mad either way you go.
Yes, it's a tough call, honestly. For me, match alone, I would have to say Ricochet, Mustafa Ali.
Not mad.
But if you're going to go with overall excitement and including everything tied in together, you can say Sami Zayn and Butch for sure. Wasn't a bad matchup. Definitely a great show tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our program. You can show us some love with a like, leave us a comment, and give us a subscribe. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and TikTok. All of our content can be seen on YouTube, and you can listen to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Podcast. Until the next episode, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Rob.
And thank you for listening to the Cream of the Crop Wrestling Podcast. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Cream of the Crop Wrestling. You can embrace the madness by finding us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cream of the Crop Wrestling. Follow us on Twitter at Cream of the Crop W. Subscribe to our YouTube channel by typing Cream of the Crop Wrestling in the search bar. Have fun with us on TikTok at Cream of the Crop Wrestling. And you can always find full episodes of the podcast wherever podcasts are found.
Nothing means nothing.
Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. You know that I'm the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better. Oh yeah.